Was it in that, like in Isizu, in early 1990, like that?
In that dialect, literally. I was sitting there with a translation device. And so I had to make a soundtrack for it. It sounded like South Africa's Lord of the Rings. It was so fucking dope. It was like Sauron was from Peter Maritzburg. It was so cool. Yeah, it was cool.
that
Shit.
that is actually fire. Uh,
Nice. So,
what did
Kapai,
you
just
get
to
about?
let you know, my first story when we get to me is going to be about this sailor man, Juan Manuel Ballester.
And we are live.
We're
Do we
live.
have any viewers? No, there's no viewers. There's no guys. It's a blank show. We are 4 viewers already. That's
5 viewers.
fine. That's 5 viewers.
That's
But
my family minus one. So now I need to find out the one person in my direct family who's not watching my TV show. Yo, there's going to be a fight. I bet you it's my mother. She doesn't like to be awake this late at night.
that's true. But she does comment on my stuff, so it's fine. You cannot like the lady. I love the lady. She's
Does
a
she
great
comment?
person.
Does she
She
comment
does.
on? She has never commented on any of my stuff, not even directly in WhatsApp. She doesn't even DM me. Outrageous.
She's cooler than you. She's a fan.
All right, Yasin Barnes. Broken news time. Broken news time.
Hi guys, I'm Yasin Pons with my co-host, not the guest, Dan Coder, and this is Broken News. It's a news show that's we talk about about the broken news. It was breaking, but then it broke, and then much like our bank accounts, it's now say it
broken.
Dan. Broken. You are past broke. You are broken. That's what bank accounts look like.
Okay.
So before we even get into the show, then I started watching Hyperdrive. Have you seen it on Netflix?
No, sorry.
It's like Need for Speed with real people and real cars. It is perfect. Like it's not even like duidelijk. It's perfect. Like they come from all over the world with like very cool cars, and it's all like modified and stuff. So think of exactly what Need for Speed looks like, right? So it's a BMW dropped with the nice lights and the nice, all the goodetjies, the liquor wheels, and then they go drift around like a building and stuff. It's like a course. What's that? That American Ninja is the American Ninja.
American Ninja?
It's like Gladiators kind of a shit, man. Where you
Ninja Warrior.
Ninja Warrior.
Except for cars.
Yes, it's Ninja Warrior cars. It's very quiet, guys. So what are you also tie guys to the people in the comments, what are you guys watching? Because I feel like we have gone through 4 months of watching things. People were updating of like, oh, we must watch this, but everybody's starting at different points. What are you guys watching at home? I just want to know.
Guys, it's lockdown level 3, but it's month 4. I finished Netflix. There's nothing left on Netflix for me to watch. Literally, it's like I beat the last Pokemon gym of Netflix. Then I also clocked Showmax twice. Now I'm watching YouTube adverts at this point because there's nothing left. We're going to run out of the internet. I'm now having to watch things that I don't even like anymore. Like, like when Netflix starts like recommending you stuff where they basically are saying, we know you don't like this, but we've run out of things that you like. The recommends are empty now.
Just try this thing. So Naima, she watches Law and Order, Special Victims Unit. I am not a fan of the show at all. But the intro song, guys, the intro song. When the flute comes into the intro song, oh, that's my moment. And then once the song is done, I'm out. But it's something to watch. That's the other thing at this point. I feel like we all just like, yeah, it's something to watch. What else? What else have you? Here's the other thing. What else have you really enjoyed and watched?
Okay, I really loved Midnight's Gospel, which was a show that was put onto Netflix. It's like 10 episodes. It's very deep, though. It's like existentialist philosophy deep. So I don't know if it's not quite Hyperdrive, but it's very dope. But the other thing that I was watching to balance that energy...
Like if it was a pool, right? I would be at the shallow end. Midnight Gospel is on the deep end because it's on. But maybe I'll go see what it's about. Tell me.
But I have been doing a lot of shallow end watching. It's funny that you mentioned Ninja Warrior because I was raised on Ninja Warrior, the original Japanese one, when it was on Animax 128 on DSTV. Now all the best shows were on Animax, and you know what came before Ninja Warrior? Takeshi's Castle, the greatest reality show of all time, where they would make normal Japanese people do horribly awful things only for them to lose at the end. Because they'd get to the final stage. For people who haven't seen Takeshi's Castle, it's this impossible obstacle course. At one point, they have to run through a stone wall where half of it is fake plastic foam stone and the other half is stone. So half of the people run into a stone wall and the other half of the people run through the stone wall. Then they've got to swim through a mosh pit. And then in the final stage, if you make it, and only like 7 people do, you got to get to the castle. But in front of the castle is 7 ninjas on little car bikes that look like they're out of Star Wars, and they have laser guns on them. And you've also got car bikes that you jump onto, but your car bikes only go a third as fast as their car bikes, and your lasers don't work. So nobody ever wins Takeshi's Castle, but it is the highest form of entertainment I have ever seen.
I'm actually, what was the other one? Do you know, Hi Majide?
No.
So it is also, I'm hearing your voice there. I don't know. Oh, you my conscience right now.
Am I your conscience right now? I think producer Clyde is watching us on another screen and we are hearing ourselves. Either that or this is the final stage of lockdown. Okay, sorry. Yeah, what were you talking about?
I think the show goes hard because I just remember like the punchline of the show was like it's those some Asian game show, but it was out of the world, and they would have these people do these ridiculous things, and then at the end of the round, he just go, "Hi, much day."
Eric on the comments on the show says the prize at the end of Takeshi's Castle was bizarre too. I never saw anybody win Takeshi's Castle, so I don't know what the prize was.
I've always seen the beginning of the show. I've never seen anyone make it to the end, because I know then they have to like run up a path, then a boulder falls on them. Just some weird. What else did we go through? RuPaul's Drag Race. That's also, guys, you must get on the RuPaul Drag Race. It's a great show.
It's incredible.
Yeah, guys, just keep filling us in. We'll check in with the show of what people are watching.
What are you watching now, having run out of all of the things that we've watched over the last 3 or 4 months? Crazy.
Have you gone through New Girl?
I went through New Girl many years ago, and I'm never going through it again. You know, there's certain shows that you can watch more than once, and there's certain shows where you'd rather die. You enjoyed it, but you'd rather die. And New Girl is one of those shows for me.
I went through New Girl now during lockdown, but it was my noise in the background. You know that show? Like everybody has that show that's just like while I cook, while I do shit.
Yes.
It just plays. When I look up, I see a joke. When I look down, I carry on. As the show, I don't really keep track of the thing. So I feel like that was New Girl for me during this lockdown. Then there was obviously The Office.
Dude, you've got to. Have you watched the British one with Ricky Gervais,
Yes.
the original?
I rewatched that now during lockdown as well, and it's not. Someone is saying it was cash.
Oh, the Takeshi's Castle thing.
Yeah.
The final prize.
Eric Mulder saying that it was cash and it was a car. I don't understand. Like, I feel like after all that, I want a house. Like,
it was also the same car all 7 or 8 seasons, so we know nobody won it. Takeshi. It was Takeshi's car, and it was in his castle, and nothing good happened.
Let's actually, I feel like, guys, let us know what you guys have been watching. We'll go through the show now to the news, to a more serious topic, the real. I won't say
wait.
Let's put it in inverted commas, the real news.
We will have our best conspiracy theories of the week section a little bit later. Pretty excited for that. I just want to give one more crazy video TV show recommendation if you've really run out of everything. There's a Japanese reality TV show called Terrace House. Now, Terrace House is insane, and it's hard to describe why it's insane. So I'm just going to tell you, and you can chew over it. Terrace House is about 10 Japanese young people living in a terrace house in Hawaii where they do totally normal life. No reality TV, no performing, no fighting, no causing Skinner, no cutaway interviews. They just live completely normal lives. And Yasin, it sounds boring. It is fascinating because it is real life on television when we are so used to watching it be performed. These oaks don't fight. They're nice to each other. They have pool parties. They try to get jobs. They have careers. They phone their mothers once a week. It's so lovely. And I promise you, it is annoyingly addictive. It is annoyingly addictive. Terrace House if you have nothing else to watch.
And I go check that out. And then there's also another an Asian game show where they have, I think it's like 5 comedians, but also their version of comedy is very, like is different compared to ours, which is also amazing. So they take these 5 guys and they basically I think it's a whole day that they, from the early in the morning, they let them, and the show goes right through the night. It's like a 24-hour show, and they cut it down. It happens I think it's every New Year that they play it. But basically, so they put these men through these weird scenarios. So the one is like they into the room, and then they'll I can't imagine it. So basically, on the screen, all in the room. They on the screen, and they show them something funny. And if any of them laugh, these soldiers come in and give them a hiding, but with like a rubber baton. It's the wild thing. Like, and then if you laugh, like let's say you see your friend get a hiding, then you laugh, then they come in and they give you a hiding.
Guys, Japanese reality TV is either perfectly normal life or it's people getting abused. Also, in the comments, Chico Munoz says watching Vikings at the moment. I love Vikings. It is such an epic series. It's about these early stage like myth Vikings who would go and try to conquer the world, much like what really, really happened 12, 1300 years ago. I honestly think it's better than Game of Thrones. Just my opinion. Drag me in the comments. If anybody has watched both, let me know what you think, because I loved it much more than Game of Thrones.
That's interesting. Actually, I don't know if I have it in me to get into such a long show, because Game of Thrones it felt like it drained me, and I just feel like I don't know if my body is ready, especially during to go through another painful process of a show. Just
sure.
They killed my guy. Someone I had good. Yeah.
Okay. Let's do broken news. Let's do the news.
It's the news.
News. Okay.
Sort of. We're on your side now.
Am I starting? Okay. So this is an incredible story that blew my mind. You know how like we've all been suffering lockdown. You know how a lot of us haven't been able to see our family. Maybe we don't live with them. Maybe there are many doctors or whatever who've decided not to live with their family because they want to keep them safe. And we're feeling kind of alone and social distancing is hard. Well, there's this guy. His name is Juan Manuel Ballester. He's from Argentina. He was trapped in Portugal when lockdown started, but he wanted to see his dad, who's 89 years old, turning 90. And Juan Manuel Ballester is, let's say he's his own person. He marches to the beat of his own drum. He follows his own path. This guy was told, no, you can't fly home to Argentina. So he took his 8.8 meter long boat and he sailed to Argentina from Portugal for 3 months. He was on the ocean for 85 days, going across the Atlantic, the ocean that killed the Titanic, in a boat which is the length of 3 or 4 Ms. Like this guy, an 8.8 meter long boat, he took tin tuna, rice, and fruit. That was it. He wanted to restock in Cape Verde along the way, but they wouldn't let him in because they were like, you might have COVID. So he just had to keep going. He was in a storm with 50, 60 meter high waves. The boat is only 2 meters high. And he was like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and see my dad. He taught me how to sail, and now I'm going to go hang out with him. He didn't even have connection, and he went all the way back to Argentina. He made it after 3.5 months at sea. Can you imagine, brother, the social distancing of being totally alone with the ocean, tinned tuna, rice, and fruit for 3.5 months? And then apparently on day 90 or whatever, he sailed into the same harbor where his father had taught him how to sail. And then so then they had 2 weeks. He discovered the guy was still alive and they reunited. It's fucking amazing.
Firstly, after how long did he get to Cape Verde? This is the one thing we need to ask. Because imagine spending 2 months on a boat and then someone going, yo, you might have. No, guys, I would lose my mind. Because I'm like, guys, it took me 2 months. Clearly, I don't have corona. You must get off my case. Then the other thing is, you sent me the link to the article and I read the first 3 lines and then it said, pay $2 to read the rest. And I was like, nope, Daniel, tell me the rest of the story. I'm not going to read. Who must pay $2 for the story? Shukran for interesting. And yes,
funny.
That is amazing. Like, I can't imagine firstly sailing, because the last time me and my people sailed, we weren't really like sailing. We were rather just a taxi ride, but we were forced to be in the taxi, and then they just dropped us off. Yeah, but that's another story
that we always talk about, which is fine.
Portugal to Argentina, you said.
Right? It's from Europe down to South America. Like, it is insane. Across the Atlantic, which is one of the most dangerous oceans in the world. He was in the middle of this huge ocean, middle of nowhere, on his own, no help. Apparently, here's another thing that you would have got for your $2. Apparently, he became a vegetarian because he was so lonely and terrified after, I know, white people, right? Anyway, so like month and a half in, he was like, I'm hungry. I'm tired of tin tuna, rice, and fruit. I'm going to start fishing. But then he saw, when he, in his most depressive moment, he saw a bird fly out of this is like the life of Pi. This is a movie. Somebody's going to convert. So a bird flies out of the clouds, and he looks up, and in Spanish, which is the language of Argentina, again, a story about a boat with some Europeans. But in Spanish, this bird is called a schooner, which is the same name as his boat. So he was like, nature is supporting me. These are my friends now. I can't eat you anymore. And so he stopped fishing, and now he's a vegetarian. And then a day later, a pod of dolphins appeared. I think he was hallucinating at this point. A pod of dolphins appeared and swam with him 1,000 kilometers. And he was like, the world is trying to save me. We are the virus. Healing, healing, healing. Bruh, that's worth your $2.
You know, that firstly is worth $2 because that's a mushroom trip. Then the other thing I was going to say is that like the opposite of an oasis? You know, like if you're in the desert and you see like this wild oasis and you're like, oh, I think this thing is real, but it's actually a hallucination. And then I think that's what happened to him because he was just like, yeah, dolphins. Also, who measures like 1,000? It's no, guys, that's crazy. 1,000, what's it, 1,000 meters?
Kilometers, bro.
1,000 kilometers. What was
Janine
that?
says that this is the new music video to My Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion. Banger. Banger. Get us a budget. This is going to be a movie, guys. This is going to be, because you know how COVID is going to have all these movies about it now. We're going to have the cute rom-com with Hugh Grant and some Drew Barrymore type who like didn't know who each other were, and then they got trapped in a house together, and then they had to live together for 3 months, and they fell in love. We're also going to have one about two gay guys where the same things happens. Like, all of these movies are going to happen, and this is the Life of Pi version of the COVID movie, except it really happened. It's going to be epic.
Is this like the what's it, 72 hours? Is it that movie? You know, where they just like, it's that movie.
Yeah.
Like this. So I feel like that movie is going to be only shot on the boat. And then in the 2 minutes, he's like, oh, my dad.
Or some Japanese reality show is going to make somebody do this. Because that's what they'll do. So apparently he was about 200 kilometers away from the coast of South America near Brazil, and then he got trapped in a storm. Can you imagine? You've been on the waves for 3 months, you're nearly there, you get trapped in a storm and smashed so badly that he had to go in for repairs. And then weirdly, so the president of Brazil is terrible. He's Trump, but he speaks Portuguese. And he doesn't believe in COVID and has fired all of his ministers who do believe in COVID. So this guy's vote.
It's horrible, but it's funny. It's so crazy. It's funny.
He just fires every minister he has who believes in COVID. So anyway, so you know how this sailor wasn't allowed to stop in Cape Verde because they thought he would have COVID. Then he gets smashed by a wave. He needs repairs. Brazil is the closest country. Brazil doesn't believe in COVID. Brother gets saved.
I also feel like, imagine sailing for 3 months and you are safe and you've gone through the deep waters and now you can see the land and then there's a storm. Like, I would be so angry with the world. It isn't Noah.
It's like Noah. Yeah. I think it's like Evan Almighty, except, wow, a way smaller boat. Like, guys, this boat is 8.8 meters. Like, yo, that's like what, 2 cars in length? That's your whole world for 3 months.
It sounds like the whole story is like he was on a slow boat. It's a different kind of, it's like you're on a trip.
Okay, yeah, so that was my first story. Do you want to do one now?
Yeah, let me take the net. Wow. Going through the phones. Who is this now?
Louis phones.
So, yeah. So, right. So, I also feel like, so firstly, the US, there's a part of the US, someone in the US government, I'm just going to say someone, right, said that Putin wants to stay in power for life. But what we need to understand is this is the level of news at the moment, because it's just basically someone going, you know, I heard a story, right, about They didn't write a story on Putin. They wrote a story on what this person said. Because we can write a story on Dan that said a story about a man that was on a boat. This is the level of news we're eating at the moment. Also, if Putin wants to stay in power, it's his thing. It's like, I just go, let him stay in power. I'm not Russian. It's not my problem. Like, they must go sort their own cack out.
It really does feel like you're on month 4 of lockdown. You've been living with your family and seeing no one else, not going outside. And everybody's just sitting at the table one night and going, has anybody said anything? Do you have anything else that we haven't heard in the last 4 months? Anything at all? Have you ever had a thought that we haven't heard yet? Because we know each other better than we know ourselves after all these 4 months. And then the journalist was like, I think Putin wants to be president until he dies. And that's the news story.
And that was the article that they just wrote. Is this the quality? But at the same time, I sent the link. I read the article and I was like, okay, that's interesting to hear someone's opinion on how Putin feels. No, guys, salam fida Idris there in the comment section. Are you going to take the next one? Was I carry on?
You can do one more because my first one was pretty long.
Okay. So then, so the restaurants are now getting alcohol.
You're right.
They're allowed to sell alcohol. Yeah. Because they said no one buys food if no one buys, because no one can buy alcohol.
Because you know that there are whole restaurants. I can name or think of one very specific Indian one on Long Street. People in the comments, if you know what I'm talking about. If you're not drunk, they don't make sales. But if you are drunk, delicious. Nobody would ever buy that food. Nobody sober would go, that's where we're going. But drunk at 4 a.m., we're chorling. The last time I was at that Indian restaurant on Long Street, my brother, they were making interior, like construction repairs. Like they were jackhammering a wall. People were eating. It was fine. No extra cleaning. People were sitting at the tables. They were getting food. It was delicious.
Because, dust, they just collect the dust. And then they just Salah.
I don't know, but it was delicious. I was inebriated, but it was definitely delicious.
So basically all the restaurants, especially so they interviewed restaurants in Valakazi Street, and they were just like all the shebeens. They were going, yeah, guys, we can sell alcohol, but no one we can't sell if you can't sell alcohol in a restaurant, then we can't sell food. No, Clyde. But yeah, so that's the new thing now.
Producer Clyde wanted to be helpful, and Yasin was like, how do I communicate? It doesn't matter.
The people can't see Clyde, but Clyde is there. Clyde is around us. But yeah, so basically, people want alcohol with food. And is the thing, Dan? Like, I don't know. Like, I've never gone. Clyde is like, yeah. I only drink when I eat, and I only drink when I eat, and then I eat and I drink. It's the same thing. No, guys, my spur has never gone like, I've never gone to Miriam's kitchen and then they go, here's a course of light.
Yeah, so I don't know. The relationship some people have with alcohol, if you get drunk, suddenly there's food you want because you're drunk. If you get drunk, you look at a menu and you go, I've never had clams before, and I know that I'm allergic to clams, but we should find out if I'm still allergic to clams. That's the mentality. Sometimes people will have food that they don't like, then they'll get a bit drunk and be like, we should try again. We should get different food. Like, really, alcohol is so important to the way that people operate. Uber Eats 11 o'clock at night, you're drunk for whatever reason. Suddenly, actually, people in the comments, once again, what food do you only order when you're drunk? Because there is a kind of food where this is definitely true. I'll tell you, the place on Long Street, you only go when or at least I only go when I'm hammered. Yes, pies, absolutely pies. And there's a certain kind of pie that you will order, even though it's not your favorite, because you're drunk. So chicken and mushroom is my example. I'd never buy chicken and mushroom sober, but when I'm drunk, or steak and kidney, delicious.
So to the Muslim people that's watching, what food do you only eat when you're fasting? I feel like we need a Muslim version of these questions as well, just like a halal twist on thing. Come here with your alcohol, food.
You asked me.
I do, and I fully understand it though. Like I don't know that world, but I do. Like I can imagine. Okay, guys, I haven't imagined.
Janine in the comments says a pie. Jesse says Gatsby on a carbonate golden dish. I really do miss golden dish. Marcus says, Marcus and Chico say McDonald's.
McDonald's. But you see, again, this is why I like McDonald's, is because McDonald's, it's it's a standard. Like whatever McDonald's you go to, the burger tastes like this, the chips taste like this. Might not be amazing, but it's a thing of the standard.
Which is something that we usually should worry about. Like, why does all the food taste exactly the same? That's not how food works. But when it's McDonald's, I also love, I guess my favorite thing about McDonald's, and my other one is KFC at 4 a.m. with the drive-through, is just how many people are walking through. Like, that's always special. It's like, what did you do with your car? Why didn't you feel like bringing it? But yet you're here and now you're ordering food.
I'm also grateful that McDonald's and KFC have not gone the alcohol route, and it's open for everybody. Because sometimes at 2:00 in the morning, I also list for McDonald's, guys. Is it a heart?
Yeah, it's a heart.
I think I'm gonna do that thing. Like it's a moon and a star.
A moon and a star?
Yeah, it's halal. Like you can do a heart. I'm gonna do a halal.
Is the heart? Oh, okay. I understand. Kenwin says Bunny Chow would hit the spot. Janine says McDonald's is nie veel genoeg nie for being really drunk at 4:00 in the morning. It's not rough enough. You know, it needs to be rough garage, rough pies.
How many R's did you say in that rough over there now?
Rough pies.
Out of the
Brad, do you know how many years I watched Seven Line so I could learn how to roll my R's so I could pass Afrikaans in matric? It was tough.
But she is right, though. McDonald's is still clean to a point, like I'll say. But sometimes it's just the thing that's open and it's close by, and you just go, I'm just going to take it and go. Don't still question it, just go with it.
Kenwin says people took an Uber just to walk through the drive-through. Do you know people do that? Because sometimes I've had this experience. If you ask an Uber to take you through a drive-through, you feel guilty and then you buy them a meal. And I have made the mistake before, because Uber drivers, I think, know that I'm soft. I've been like, what do you want? Now, if you offer an Uber driver, you expect them to be like, maybe a small chips, maybe a medium chips if we're feeling it, maybe a Coke. Yes, the motherfucker ordered a double Big Mac meal and chips, my man. And you can't then be like, no, you can't do that. No, that's too much money. Because then he's going to sulk in the car. He's given me a lift. He's sitting through the drive-thru with me. Now I've been like, sorry, I'm only spending 15 Rand on your potato chips. And now we must sit you in the car while my double chicken burger is made.
But also, the worst part is if you were just going for a Happy Meal, like you were just like, yo, I need like a milkshake and the chips.
Yeah,
you ask them, man, what do you want? Now this man is ordering a box, a shape. Please. The drivers that I meet up with after I drop you, like, come, you must eat. You can't say anything. You see, yeah, I'm gonna swipe.
Irshad in the comments says clean food doesn't always hit the spot. You're completely right, brother. Clean food doesn't break through the alcohol barrier. It's like a wedge.
But sometimes I feel like dirty food, it feels sometimes like it can lubricate the arteries. You know?
No, you're right.
And you just go like, yeah, it makes the sleep nicer. You can't have and go sleep. Like you know what I mean? Why means, oh, I'm awake now, I must go take a run. But like a Gatsby goes, it's sleep time. This is the end of the night. Like nothing, you can't start the night after a Gatsby.
No, you're right. Do you know what I'm really enjoying about our live feed is that Facebook is trying to give us what is it called? Captions. What we're saying. What's it called?
Oh, subtitles. Like
live.
Yeah.
And now the Afrikaans words, they're struggling. So we must try and use more Afrikaans words. Listeners, or viewers in the comments, tell us what Afrikaans words you want us to use so that we can see if Facebook can do it. They're going to suffer with that veel genoeg and also that raf. It's going to come now. I'm very excited. We're going to screw with Facebook's Afrikaans algorithm. Okay.
And then on to the next article is that Mercedes this week announced that they are taking a stand with BLM, and they're now making all their cars black.
They look mad, brother. Did you see the pictures?
It does look dope. It's really cool. It's a very fresh car, and I think it's amazing that they're doing that. But I just want to pull up a photo of the team. If you can see the Mercedes team, guys, it's actually my favorite photo to see, especially because they're standing with BLM. There's one black man on the team, and he is the driver.
Yeah, his name is Lewis Hamilton. Ridiculous.
Yeah, Hamilton. He's also like the black man, but I mean, Lewis Hamilton. I've never met a Lewis Hamilton that is a.
That's funny.
Good for Mercedes, but also, guys, you include someone in the team also, man. You can't just make a black car. Oh, I hope they're doing something to the actual system. They're not just
because that's the thing, right? Mercedes's color scheme has already got black in it, and it looks dope. Like if Ferrari made a black car, which would be sick, by the way, but like that's a real sacrifice because Ferrari's iconically red. You know what I mean?
But Mercedes is losing nothing other than coolness. Like, I mean, Mercedes comes in black already. So why must we?
I mean, Mercedes is really, really cool. Actually, this is funny. I was speaking about this a week ago. Do you remember when that Mercedes crashed on Chapman's Peak in like the early 2000s? Do you remember that?
Great moment in time.
Why?
Simply because BMW hit back.
I was going to tell you that story. That's why I brought it up.
Continue.
So the story is Mercedes-Benz, there was a crash on Chapman's Peak. So Audi South Africa was like, and they were like, we're just going to make a just for mocking. They shot an advert of an Audi driving beautifully down Chapman's Peak, clean lines, curving around. It looked like hyperdrive that you were describing. And then at the end, just a simple tagline: Audi, beat the Benz. Like Mercedes-Benz, but also like Chapman's Peak Benz because the Audi didn't crash. Love it. Whoever put budget behind that, huge vibe.
I love when brands nip each other without saying the other company. When they just like, I cut you inside. And then, so Boris Johnson, he announced that this week that the British are actually the fattest people in Europe.
I can believe that. I can believe that.
Like, because they're living off the fat of the land, you assholes.
Can I just say, there's something hilarious about a president coming out and saying, guys, we're the fattest. We're the biggest, we're the fattest. Like, why on earth do you have a president who would feel the need to say that, or a prime minister? That is ridiculous.
It's not even like a PH fat. It's like the F fat. Like, it's the real fat. I watched the Onion movie like last week on my list of things that I've gone through during lockdown. Movie. And one of the skits that they had was that they raised the level, America raised the level of what the definition of fat is. And so less people would be fat. So that they could just go, it means you must be 180 kilos and not like 140 anymore. Which is, that was why I laughed when I read this article.
Bro, 7 out of 10 Americans are clinically overweight. That means like a minority in America is normal weighed people. Like, think about that. Or underweight people.
So then you also go, isn't like... it's part of the comorbidities for COVID, right? So it means
absolutely.
Absolutely. It was the Nando's team. The Nando's team, Nando's has been coming with great... Nando's is actually one of our favorite people to ever make ads.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad that they were brave enough to allow their team to do that. You know what I mean?
Whoever from Nando's signed off the agency to write those ads, big up on you. You took a great risk and it was worth it.
No doubt. Yasin, don't say what he told you not to say. Clyde put up on the Clyde put up on the screen. Yasin, don't pause to read when I put up a message, and Yasin paused to read the message.
Guys, I can't read and I can't take information and it can't go in and out at the same time. I need to process things.
Okay, next, Yasin, I've got one more.
Is that so basically so the UK museum, the Museum of the United Kingdom, is also now pro BLM, which is amazing again. And they are now saying that they want to give back the artifacts that was stolen.
Really?
So basically they want to give back all the things that were stolen during the time of pillaging and just colonizing, which is very funny because it's basically the people that work at the museum want to be unemployed. That's what I'm getting from the whole thing, because there will be nothing left in the museum.
Nothing to look at.
because everything they have there is just been like, yeah, we're taking all the dinosaur bones, all the artifacts, all those things. Yeah. So it was a very funny article to read because I'm just like, you guys know that everything is stolen, like the mummies, all those things. So they now in the process of building or like helping other museums that they took, helping them restructure and get the proper equipment and take the stuff back, basically. Because there was one point that they that Egypt was like, yo, give our mummies back. Funny term. But anyway, and then basically the UK was like, yo, but you don't have the equipment to look after the stuff properly.
Because the UK probably didn't give it to them. Hey, so then now they're forced to not have their shit.
So I was just like, yeah, it's a very funny time in the world.
So there's only one museum in the whole of England that is not going to be affected by this, and this museum actually exists. It's the Museum of the History of British Rural Life, which is basically a museum about farmers in England for the last 1,000 years. It's basically like, these are our sheep, these are our sheepdogs, these are our tractors. And they're actually very funny on Twitter because they know how bought they are. They know how boring and uninteresting they are, and they own it. And now in the last few days on Twitter, they've been like, wow, we have all our exhibits. They're fine. Pull through. It's great. Guys, just to let you know, at the start of the show, we wanted to know what you're watching now during lockdown because it's been so long. Haven't you run out? What are you watching now? The Last Dance is finished. We all now know about Michael Jordan. Midnight Gospel is finished. Like, Rick and Morty is finished. What's left? I'm rewatching Takeshi's Castle. Yasin is watching Hyperdrive, but we need more recommendations because we basically finished Netflix now.
And what was it? Was it Married at First Sight? Not Married at First Sight. What was the other show where with a blind dating and then they got married? What was that? Do you remember that?
I can't remember.
That during lockdown was also real.
Love Island. No?
Not Love Island. It's also a Netflix show where they had to like they were blind dating first and then they had to propose. It wasn't like
So
it's like a phone call. You get to like hear the person speak to them for hours and then you go, yo, will you marry me? And only once you say, will you marry me, you get to see them for the first time.
Terrible.
But they go, and then there's like a dating period. Not a dating, but they like engaged for a period. And that's where like shit gets real because you're like, oh shit, this person is actually a mess. This one is a gold digger.
Do you know how evil that is? Because think about the people designing that show, pairing potential partners, right? They can't just have beautiful people. So these producers must go, that one's very cool, but also ugly. So we're going to set them up for humiliation because this one is going to do well on the phone and then they're going to get a proposal and then they're going to be seen and nix.
Yeah, it's also so a great show. You'll find, I'm sure I hope someone has watched it as well. So I'm not the only one here talking about the show. But yeah, if you guys have watched it, please get me a name for the show.
Irshad says 90 Day Fiance. Was it that?
No, 90 Days Fiancé is another show that's actually popping at the moment. It's Vampire Diaries. Did you get into Vampire Diaries?
No, I watched 15 minutes of Twilight because I liked a woman when I was 12. And then I was like, I'm done with vampires. And then she was done with me. And that's pretty much my relationship with vampires historically. So there's a show that I really enjoyed that I think SABC 3 carried for a while, which was Dating in the Dark. Oh, I love that show. You know that show? Oh, man, they make two people sit in a pitch black room and hang out for like an hour and a half. And all of the producers have night vision goggles so they can see what's going on. And they do a full date. And at the end, they're like, do you want to go out again? Yes or no? And then they turn on the lights. Oh, it's a great show.
Yeah, you must fall for the person's personality. But again, what is the other one is, what is Dark? Have you watched Dark on Netflix? Irshad says there's a show called Dark on Netflix that's good.
I have not.
Anyway, we must go do the research now on what Dark on Netflix is.
Okay, I have a broken news story for you. News this week. So Egypt is a society which is not very free. They arrest a lot of people who they don't like. And a very famous Egyptian belly dancer called Sama El Masri has just been sent to prison for 3 years for inciting debauchery and immorality on TikTok. Now, I want to laugh, but this is rough because, somebody's been sent to prison for 3 years for just doing TikTok dances. Also, they got a fine to the value of 300,000 Egyptian pounds, which is 322,000 rand. The celebrity said that the content was shared from her stolen phone without her consent. So she said that actually she didn't post this, which is a really flimsy excuse. I just don't believe it. It's like, imagine suddenly like, I don't know, again, not happened to me, but I saw on Twitter the other day, somebody was like, oh, I opened up a pornographic video that a friend of mine sent and it wasn't playing sound. And then I realized that my phone was connected to the Bluetooth in the lounge. Anyway, so it's like it's one of those situations where you're like, it wasn't me, it wasn't my phone. But the thing that I want to talk about here is, so they say that she's in trouble for inciting debauchery on TikTok through videos. So basically saying that she's like sexualizing all of the young Egyptian teens and making them sinful with like good belly dancing videos. Now, that's just an argument I've never believed. Ever in my life. Nobody watches this stuff and believes it. Like, no one watches Star Wars for hours a day and then expects to see Darth Vader at the supermarket. You don't play Call of Duty and then start shooting guns. Very few people play Need for Speed and start speeding. Imagine if the world was like that, Yasin. Imagine if the world was like that. Imagine the stuff that you have watched. Imagine if it immediately just made you do things. And then you became a person who just did things that you saw on television.
You know what I'd be? I'd be a plumber because I played Mario Brothers. Like, is what I'd be. I'd be a guy that would pack stuff because I played Tetris. Is that what we would be? Like, whatever game you played, you'd just become that.
Bruh, I would go out into the world. I'd be finding like rats and crabs and then taking them and trying to make them fight dogs because of Pokemon. Like, make them fight other people with pets. Dude, the world doesn't work that way. And like, I just think it's crazy that this person's being punished for this because humans aren't so simple.
But here's the other thing before we even get there. She's a celebrity belly dancer. Like, just the title alone. Because I go, how? I've heard celebrity singers, celebrity actors. They can be an influencer even. But a belly dancer, I've never heard someone like, imagine your level of belly dancing. You a celeb because of it. Like, it must be mind-blowing. So maybe she is that good to go, but you know what? Maybe it's that, if you know the snake in Jungle Book, that he does with the eyes. And then you just go, maybe she can do that with the hips. Like, it actually, she did cause the debauchery.
Maybe she's Shakira.
And the hips don't lie. That's what she was actually doing then. And maybe she's that good to be a celebrity dancer.
I did see a belly dancer once, belly dancing while 7.5 months pregnant. And I must admit, it was a spell. I couldn't take my eyes away. She was dancing her baby. She was like wrestle dancing, core strengthening her baby. And if this woman's doing that, maybe that should be illegal. Maybe you shouldn't be allowed to belly dance if you're 6 months pregnant or older, because that is mad. But aside from that, I don't think it could be that bad.
Does the baby still dance? Like,
the baby was jolling, brother. The baby was going. Irshad in the comments says, imagine if people were so easily influenced that they just did what they saw on TV. Mortal Kombat players would just be murderers. Like, they would just like be going around taking lives.
There would be people wearing masks just saying, get over here. Instead of what we're doing now is people wearing masks saying, stay over there. It's the same thing of the different thing at the same time.
Sure.
What's the next article that we have going up? I think we're coming close to the end already.
Let me just check. Have you done all of yours?
I'm done with mine.
Okay, so I may want to talk about... Okay, wait, hold on. Let me just think about this. Yes, okay. So let's talk about Julius Malema. We can finish with Julius Malema. Did you see what he did last week? This man
is... I love him.
So for those of you who don't know, an incredible thing happened last week. It's like so mind-blowing to me that I had a little meltdown on air. We have a crime fighting unit in South Africa called the Hawks, but maybe you guys haven't heard of it because they don't fight crime. Okay, shame. Actually, to be fair, so the Hawks
I
are
only
what the
know of this small
Scorpions.
division called the Hokies.
Yeah.
They back of the house and they wait for the people there. But anyway, carry on.
And they are as effective at fighting crime as the Hawks. So basically, the Scorpions was this elite crime fighting unit that would fight crimes, particularly corruption, political stuff, and then Jacob Zuma's government did away with them. People have lots of theories for why he did that I am not in any position to talk about.
I feel like so already, but carry on.
Anyway, so then the Hawks come along and replace them. And the Hawks in 13 years have not made a single major arrest. Meanwhile, there's been stuff to do. Arms deal, state capture, VBS. Okay, so basically, VBS is a bank that was operating in the the northern parts of South Africa, and they were the only black-owned bank in South Africa. They were run by the vendor king, and most of their clients were poor rural area pensioners, black people, black South Africans. And so, oh wow, Janine says Facebook just translated Julius to Judaism. Again, I can't comment on that. So
neither will I.
At least it wasn't Judas. At least it wasn't Judas. I don't want to be involved in that. Anyway, so VBS Bank a few years ago went to some municipalities and said, loan us some of your money and we'll pay it back. And so the municipalities gave money that they were supposed to spend on roads and supposed to spend on houses and gave it to the bank expecting to be paid back with interest, right? And then VBS collapsed and it became clear that VBS had taken money from these municipalities' loans, not paid them back. So these municipalities now don't have money to pay to build roads, fix sewers, whatever. And they'd also just stolen money from their clients. So now that there are lots and lots of poor, old, black, unemployed people who've lost their pensions and their savings and the money's not coming back. So it's really sad. Anyway, there's tons of evidence now, or at least alleged evidence, that a lot of that money was sent to high-ranking politicians in the EFF and the ANC. So then the Hawks arrested some VBS people, and there's pretty strong evidence that Floyd Shivambu was involved in the dirty mama. He's money. He's Julius's second in command, third in command. So Julius calls a press conference. He says, I dare any major journalist in South Africa to come and ask me any question that you like. I'm ready. The audacity. This man is in trouble. What does he do? He says, come, let's talk. I'll fight you. So all of these mad high-ranking journalists from the biggest news channels in South Africa pull through, and they grill him for an hour and 10 minutes. Now, this guy, Julius Malema, is so good at the art of the argument. This bruh for 40 minutes is all he says for 40 minutes is, I hear what you're saying, but I don't know. Do you have any proof that I was involved? And for 40 minutes, the journalist said, but all of the dodgy money was at the parties you were at. And Julius said, yeah, but can you prove that I had any? No. Yeah, but all of the dodgy money was on credit cards that your brother owns and with a friend of yours. And Julius says, yeah, but can you show me that I had the money? And they say no. So after 40 minutes, Julius says, so what you mean to tell me is that you have no proof that I am involved? And they say, but Julius, all of your friends and family are involved in this. And then he says, but I didn't know that. And you can believe me or not. And then he says, but don't you think my family deserves to live, to make money, to have food to eat? And then, then you realize he knew from the beginning they had nothing on him. He played them and he gave them 40 minutes and then he smacked them. Oh, it was so hectic. And then the best part was, just quickly, the best part was, then he's then all the journalists are like, yeah, but Paulie isn't here. Now, Paulie van Wyk is the investigative journalist who'd done all the digging. But Julius had banned her from his news conferences. So all of the journalists are like, if Paulie was here, then Paulie would be able to get you. We don't know the facts well enough. And Julius said, but I told you could bring whoever you wanted. And they said, no, but you banned Paulie from the press conferences. And he said, no, I told you could bring whoever you wanted. And you didn't bring her. So now what? He crushed them. It was so impressive.
I just remember someone hit him with this long-winded question. Then he was like, no, now what? That was his answer. Like, this long thing of like, oh, but you were here, this is a thing. Then they saw this person. Then he was like, no. That's a he just hit him with a straight fact, no. But also the great thing is that it was like they basically told him to come into the lion's den or the hyena's den. I don't know whose den. But he
Literally.
basically welcomed them all in, had all these people. So whenever he said something funny, there was laughter that happened. So he was like, yeah, tell me, I have money. These people are entertained. And I feel like, oh, it was such a great move. Like, I actually applaud him for, firstly, how charming he was, how funny he was, and how brave of just going, everybody here, no one could catch me. Just safe.
So my favorite moment, which was, and this is like evil genius. I don't care if you love or hate Julius Malema. I'm just like praising how he operated in this news conference. The bruh is being criticized by all the journalists. Like, yeah, you attack journalists. Yeah, you mock journalists. You ban journalists from your news conferences. Like, you've really messed this up. And the reason why Paulie isn't here is because you banned her and you're bad for journalism. And Julius goes, no, guys, I'm a parliamentarian. I fight criminal propaganda machines. I'm fighting against criminals pretending to be journalists. And I am fighting for you. I am fighting to save your profession. And all the journalists were like,
defeated.
My man, that guy is an operator who I think he really is like what I think every other politician in the world wishes they were. Like, he's so smart in the argument. He's so smart.
I feel like Trump thinks his level of charm and wit is on Malema's level.
I wanted to say, yeah.
Because like Trump will like come with like a kind of an angle, but can't finish. Malema went all the way. He'll be like, yeah, here's a joke on the way. You miss me. Here's a joke. Look at all of us laughing now. Even you, the journalist, you laughing with me now. Yeah. A smooth criminal, if ever. I'm not saying he is a criminal. I'm just referring to the song. Please, guys, don't now insinuate that I'm a bad journalist. We've come to the end of the end of that show. We've got the last segment. It is now crappy design. It's things in the world that just shouldn't have been, guys. Why did you put up? It is a picture of the fan. Now, if anybody has seen this fan, I have, in my whole 32 years of being in the world, I've never seen this fan at its full potential. I've never seen it work. Everybody's fan is at an angle and it either does this, or it means that the strings are missing, or it means that the light doesn't work. There's always something wrong with this fan. So the one that's shown in the picture is that the light, it's the light, then the fan. Basically you see this happen in front of the light the whole day. So it looks like you're in your damn lounge. But guys, that fan I have a problem with, because I have never ever in my life seen in any auntie's house. That fan it never works. It always something wrong. Please, someone prove me wrong and show me a photo of that fan that works.
I think it's very good. I think it's beautiful. I mean, I don't think it's supposed to work. I think it's supposed to look good. It's like a piece, you know, like something that's just supposed to look dope in the lounge.
I feel like it's that fan. It's that brass Africa clock. Do you know the brass Africa?
Yes.
It's that. It has the lion and the stuff. It has all the big five in the shape of Africa.
Yeah.
It's that thing she has. It's that fan that doesn't work, and it's a porcelain doll. A dog. Okay. Sorry, it's the porcelain dog that's also there.
Yeah. Everybody loves those dogs.
And there's the doilies everywhere. Ooh, there's a doily on everything. There's a doily even in the toilet. Even the toilet paper is wearing a doily. The Barbie doll in the toilet is wearing a doily.
Do you know what I really don't like is when people are trying to be mad fancy and, you know, they put down those plush, almost like fake fur carpets, but in the bathroom. Like, why have you got a shower mat that was once a cat? Or at least pretend to once be a cat. When that thing gets moist, it never gets dry. It slowly starts to rot. And then you're right. They sometimes put it they make a little one to put on top of the toilet paper dispenser.
It's basically, it's pump my ride for doilies. Yo, dog, I heard you like doilies. So you can doily while you doily. No, guys, tell your aunties to stop using doilies and also get a fan. Tell your uncles to buy a fan that works. Also, when that fan was on in anybody's house, it did fuck all. That it never made the ventilation. It never made the smell go away. That fan doesn't work. It's not even aesthetically pleasing. Stop that fan.
Do you know what it is? It's like there's certain fans which don't make things cooler. They just stir the pot. They just move the air around. That's all they do. It's like we're going to move the hot here and then we're going to move it there so it doesn't burn. And that's all fans like that do.
And that's the end of the show, guys. So, guys, also keep telling us what shows you're watching, because I feel like this comment section is just going to be a list for us to check in for next week to see what people are watching. I saw someone saying that they only managed to watch one season of Game of Thrones.
Oh, wow.
I think it gets better till the 5th season, maybe 6th, and then it's fine from there. You don't need to watch anymore. But it's worth watching. I feel like just for like Lord of the Rings, you only watch it for pop culture's sake. You don't even need to be into it just to go, oh yeah, I watched it.
Do you know what you must never do is read Lord of the Rings. Bruh. Have you read it?
No, I don't. Guys, I can't.
Read.
If a Facebook post says see more, then I scroll on.
You're right. You're so right. Terrible.
I'm not reading any more than I should. Please. But yeah, my ADHD is not helping for me to read. But yeah, so guys, if you did enjoy the show, please like it and share it, and come back next week. It happens every Wednesday at 9 o'clock from 9 to 10. We're just going over 10 o'clock. Yeah. Dan, do you have anything you want to punt at the back?
Yeah, yes. It's Tuesdays, not Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Yeah.
Okay.
The news is broken at the point that Yasin doesn't know when. That's the broken news today. Yasin doesn't know when this show is, even though it's now.
It's Tuesday, guys. It's lockdown time. It's lockdown time. In 7 days' time, the show will be here again. Okay, guys. And then just a shout out to everybody that watched. Thanks, guys, for everybody that comment. Shout, guys. Keep watching, keep liking, keep sharing. Shout out to the big man at the back there, Clyde. Clyde Decide, the man that makes all of this possible. I hope Clyde putting up gang signs in the back, but I hope you guys can actually see Clyde. I hope he puts himself in a blocky over there. He's not gonna. And then thanks, Dan.
Thank you, Yasin. I'm so glad that I'm now 3 weeks in a row not a guest on the show, co-host of the show. I really feel like I'm getting into my groove.
And then tomorrow on Wednesday, guys, from 7 to 8, we have a show called Tell Us a Story. It's me and Simon Orgel. And tomorrow's guests, we have Rob van Vieren and Nicholas Goliath. It's a game show and we talk. Thanks for watching. I'm Yasin Barnes. That's Dan Corder. We'll see you next week.